What is going on, guys? Glad to have you back. If it's your first episode, where the hell were you? If this is your second episode, you're not doing okay in life, and this isn't going to help. It's just going to get progressively worse. We got a lot to talk about today. We're talking specifically about what's going on with the Yankees. The Yankees have a huge problem on their hands.
Would you say that they're in a sticky situation?
Dare I say the Yankees are in an uncomfortably sticky situation. So as you guys probably know, if you're fans of baseball, if you're not fans of baseball and maybe you're thinking about getting into the sport, now is the time. It's a shit show. It's the Wild West of baseball. It's like steroids, but it's baseball on steroids, not on steroids, on sticky stuff on steroids. It's amazing. At the end of last month, June 2021, year of our Lord, never be Royals, Major League Baseball is now enforcing their previously agreed upon ban of foreign substances, aka the sticky stuff. Not the sticky stuff you used to make back in middle school, and your parents just come in a room and you make a little something, and you're like, "What's going on in the bedroom?" And you turn on the light, and you're like, "Nothing. I'm just playing with my Game Boy." We're talking about Spider Tack. It's this shit that makes your fingers really sticky. You can hold a baseball, fingers up, just
I'm gonna come.
Exactly like that. It's cement for your fingers, and the ball comes off your hands. It goes really fast. No one can hit the baseball. Baseball's impossible.
Applesauce, bitch.
That's what's happening. The pitcher throws the ball, and no one can hit. So specifically, the Yankees have a pretty big problem, a huge problem. You might say a big problem. In fact,
Give me a friggin' break.
No, hear me out. And this can be a problem for a lot of teams going forward. And I should have done math beforehand to show how much is. And there's a video on YouTube that breaks down. So shout out to other YouTube people who break down. I think it was MLB Network actually how much should go to starting pitching as far as payroll. But at least $15 go into every team's pitching payroll, which is $15 is a gallon of milk, Mr. Pibb, and chocolate milk. You can get all three of those for $15, so you can tell the stakes are pretty high here for a lot of these teams. But all right, so back to the sticky stuff, the real sticky stuff. And this is a Yankees problem, but this is an MLB problem, as we've seen guys like Hairboy in Tampa. What's his name?
Tyler Glasnow.
Skater Boy Tyler Glasnow, and pitchers like Garrett Cole, and I think probably the biggest victim to this, Aroldis Chapman, who has. I wish I didn't. Aroldis Chapman went from having almost one of the best seasons a closer's ever had historically, pseudo Mariano Rivera. What's Trevor Rosenthal? What's the guy? Trevor? Who's the closer who's got like 1,000, 5,000 saves? He saved every game actually on VHS. Trevor Rosenthal. Yeah, he played around the same time as Mo. I think he played for the Angels, maybe the Padres, and the Diamondbacks. I'm going to go with Trevor Rosenthal and his bow tie. So Chapman is, once again, historically having one of the best seasons, probably one of the best seasons of his career, and has turned into a fucking nightmare. He goes, if the Yankees I want the Yankees to have a 10-run lead just so he doesn't come into the fucking game and fuck it up. If he comes in there with a 10-run lead, he gives up 11 runs. If he comes in there with a 2-run lead, he gives up 3 runs. I have no faith in the guy, which really sucks because he was having a great season. And it's 100%, and I don't know if I can say this. No one listens to this, so I'm going to go ahead and say this. It's because he was using the sticky stuff, and now he can't use the sticky stuff. Baseball knocked on the door. They came into his room while he was sleeping and said, "No sticky stuff." And he's like, all right. And he doesn't want to get in trouble because no one wants to get in trouble. Everyone's afraid of getting in trouble. I think he gets suspended without. Are you suspended without pay if you're caught with the sticky stuff?
No, you are suspended with pay. 10 games, which is 2 starts, but you get paid.
Oh, for Chapman, that could be 4 or 5 save opportunities.
Yeah, that's true too. It's more if you're a reliever, but if you're a starter, it's only 2 games. Yeah. Technically.
Yeah. And baseball is a long season. I would take the hit and just take the vacation, go to Sweden or something. Doesn't Sweden have don't they have sugar cane or something in Sweden? What do they have going on in Sweden?
Isn't there a tulip festival every year?
I think they have a tulip festival, and they have a clog festival where people just show off their clogs. They one by one they stand in. Yeah, they stand in line for hours and they say, "This is my clog," and then some guy with a beard goes, "That's a clog," and then they write down on a notepad like "clog, yes," and then they move on and like they just keep going, and then everyone has.
Did you
a good
whittle
time.
this yourself? No, actually, my grandmother whittled it. It's like disqualified.
Yeah, they throw them into a pit of fire. It's just like a dragon walks out of a cave and scorches them. They still have them in Sweden. A lot of people don't know that they still have dragons in Sweden. One of only two countries, them in China, which America has a lot to be worried about if China still has dragons. But this is getting way outside the scope of this conversation. So, back in the good old days, back in 1996, if this were to have happened, I think one guy would have stepped forward and would have put his balls on the table, figuratively, literally, metaphorically, astrophysically. Neil deGrasse Tysonly would have done this. George Steinbrenner, owner of the New York Yankees, probably the most recognizable sports franchise in the world, if not other worlds. We don't know if there's life on other planets. This might be the most famous sports team in this universe. Most likely is. Have you heard of any other outer space teams? Toon Squad was, that's a world brand, but what was the Monstars? The Monstars are, so they're probably up there in top 3 or 4 sports franchises because a lot of people know them.
Not currently, but yeah, definitely of all time for sure.
In their prime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were. Yeah, it was like the 96-97 Bulls. Like everybody knows who they were, but like nobody knows anything about them anymore because we're all young and couldn't appreciate it.
Well, I haven't seen The Last Dance, but I know a lot of people have, and a lot of people have said that Michael Jordan was in it. I don't want to deny or confirm that he was on the show without having seen it, but I think Michael Jordan may have been in The Last Dance.
That was like my Netflix fall asleep show for like the longest time. Like I made it through the first episode. I can confirm Michael Jordan was in at least the first episode. Don't know about anything after that because I kept falling asleep.
Bring the ticker and breaking news: Michael Jordan confirmed in The Last Dance documentary.
That was it.
Did you enjoy it? Was it good?
I watched the first episode and like just kept falling asleep. I watched the first episode like twice. No, that was the thing. I was like, "Where's the murder? Where's there was no OJ crossover." I was pretty upset with The Last Dance. I was hoping for something big, but they just never did.
You would think with like the size of the festivals they have nowadays, where you have Limp Bizkit playing with who's like another band on that Sad Boys tour, Papa Cockroach, and Limp Bizkit.
Wait, is that the Steve-O one, or is that a different one? That's the other one, right?
Yeah, it's another one. God, Steve-O. Actually, I really like Steve-O. I think Steve-O is like, he's probably top. He's in my top echelon. I wouldn't put him on my Mount Rushmore, my of people, my top of top people, but he's in my top echelon of people because of his redemption. Steve-O is the fucking man. He's been entertaining me by stapling his balls since before I knew what my balls did. Yeah, I do. I love Steve-O, and the fact that he turned his shit around is like amazing. And like he's just a fucking happy dude now, just stapling his balls, sober. It's amazing. So, what George Steinbrenner would have done though, and this is what Hal Steinbrenner needs. Is it Hal or is Hank dead? Hank Azaria?
No, I think Hank's still around, but Hal's. Oh, maybe I don't know. It's definitely not Hal. Hal is the current
chairman
owner
of the board
or whatever. Yeah,
he's the man with the hat. So he. I mean, if this was George Steinbrenner, who's putting up $300 million of his dollars adjusted for inflation for Garrett Cole, and however much money he's paying Aroldis Chapman, which I'm sure is a shit ton, being one of the top closers in baseball, to see your over $250 million investment just get fucked over, and essentially Garrett Cole is pitching like a $3 million a year pitcher, 1/10 of his investment. And for him to sit back idly, and I get that Major League Baseball and the Players Association collectively bargained these rules, but for baseball to now say, after decades of non-enforcement, to now punish guys to the detriment of the players and to the detriment of the teams for the quote-unquote sake of the brand, it is crazy that the owners are not doing anything. Skater Boy in Tampa Bay.
Just real quick, just so you know, Chapman signed a 3-year, $48 million contract with the Yankees, and is up in 2022.
So around $12 million a year, essentially 12 and a half, something like that. 12.
Yeah.
So, math.
Well, 15 million, but yeah.
So thank you.
Welcome.
Thank God for your math. So
says it right there.
I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot of fucking money that they're losing, and just seeing nothing from the owners. And like I said, Skater Boy in Tampa, Glass now. To see the Tampa Bay owners who are low on, who use the minimal approach for their salary, their payroll, to just to sit back and let their best player just be useless, and to have no. I mean, I'm sure they're going to do something in the off season, but we don't know. Is it going to be a typical baseball shit fix where you're going to have the same issues next year, where Cole is not going to be effective anymore, and Chapman's going to be bullshit, and pitchers around the league are going to get hurt who are not used to gripping the ball the way that they have to grip it with the sticky stuff. I'm not even saying spider tack. I'm sure there's some other variations that are sticky enough and borderline questionable, right? That guys have been using now, because spider tack's been the last few years, I guess. George Steinbrenner would have gone to the commissioner, Bud Selig Jr., piece of pizza metal. What's that guy's name? Roger. Roger Federer Manford. Yeah. Bobbert Manford. When I went into his office and raised hell, saying that, what are you doing? You're fucking over my team. You need to get this shit right, but you're not doing this right now at the detriment of my fucking investment. And what does Hal do? He puts on a fucking presser where he's talking about ticket sales in July and how the players need to play better. Like, no, you need to be a better owner and stick up for your... And I get it. The Yankees do need to play better. But you as an owner need to fucking stand up for your players, and you actually have to fucking pretend to give a shit. And you need to raise hell in that front office. Because right now, Chapman is worthless. Whatever money you paid for him, he's not worth it. He's not going to get you to the playoffs. You're not going to get that playoff bonus money that you get from concessions and ticket sales and merchandise and the hat and the commercial that plays the New York Yankees just won the World Series. You're not getting any of that shit.
So Joe, we actually, just not to interrupt, but on the line we do have the New York Yankees fan base. No, you're right, I did.
That's fine. Yeah.
And so yeah, we're joined here by the New York Yankees fan base. So just real quick, I want to patch them in so that way they can go on with their day. So New York Yankees fan base, what are your thoughts and feelings on the Aroldis Chapman and Garrett Cole non-sticky situation?
I'm glad that they all. It's a very
literally all of them. Literally every single Yankees fan ever is on the line right now. Yeah,
that's a hot take.
It is.
I don't know if we can air that. It's gonna be hard. So I mean, that's what the Yankees have. But that has to be done. The owners need to step up. And I'm once again, I'm surprised that with so many starting pitchers who are either getting hurt or becoming useless after earning so much of that payroll, to just completely be ignored, or just to be, to not have their owners back them up, is really telling, I think, of just, and I get owners aren't supposed to be, the Jerry Joneses of the world, and maybe not the George Steinbrenners of the world, the old-timey Steinbrenners of the world, but, a real simple, like, you have just owners not caring about their investments, it feels like, and the fans do care, and I think the fans want to see a game where it's competitive and balanced. But as a fan, if I'm a Tampa fan, I want to see Glasnow on the bump. I want to see Garrett Cole effective. He doesn't have to be dominant. I'd like him to be dominant, but I don't need him to be dominant. And I need Chapman to look like a fucking pitcher, because he looks like a miniature, if you ask me. So, and that's where we're going to leave things today. Schem, do you have any final words? New York Yankee fans, are they still on the line?
No, they actually all left. But a couple of things. One of them being that, like, I can see why. Like, one, I do agree with you. Like, it would be nice to see the owners kind of step up and try to defend their players and advocate for cheating. And
it's the process, man. It's the process.
Yeah, no, you're right. It is the process. And like, as you said, sticking up for your players and really showing them that you give a shit about them. But at the same time, like, the rule that's being enforced is something that was like already agreed upon by like everybody. You know what I mean? This isn't like they just imposed a new rule. It's that in the middle of the season they decided to finally enforce the rule, which sucks that they did it in the middle of the season. From what I have heard from different MLB players and different sports podcasts and shit, apparently this was something that they were warned about at the beginning of the year, and were told that nothing was going to change this year. That they would still be able to use their sticky stuff. And then all of a sudden, like now, halfway through the season, then MLB decides to crack down on them. So that's kind of shitty. That is pretty shitty. That the players were told.
There's laws on the books that still exist that are really like old and dumb and outdated. Like there's like probably one in Wisconsin where you can't have fucking ice cream on Sunday before church, right?
Yeah, probably.
The fact that it has been enforced in literally decades, and the only time that they ever crack down on guys is when guys are being idiots about it, like when they had that shit like visible on their neck or their arms, or just being really obnoxious about it. It's just been like a hush-hush thing. Kind of like how fucking steroids were back in the 90s, but we're not going to talk about that. But, I get it. They collectively bargained to have this out of the game, yet everyone did it, and it was in the game. And I get it. Pitchers took it way too far.
Yeah, they definitely took it too far.
They did, but to see a guy like, once again, just the money, how the money isn't pissed off about this is beyond me. Maybe baseball saying numbers are down because because hitting is down, and so therefore if hitting goes back up, more people will watch. Maybe not. I don't think so, to be honest. I just think baseball does a shit job of promoting their stars.
I mean, it's part of that, but also I was listening to something on Fox Sports Radio the other day. I think it was on Friday. And Charles Barkley was on. I think it was like the Dan Patrick Show or whatever. And Charles Barkley is the fucking man. He is hysterical.
I love Barkley.
But he was saying like he's a really big football fan. He likes the Green Bay Packers, and he's his two favorite sports are boxing and football. He said, and he's like, I'm pissed off, man. The NBA Finals are about to be starting, and all you see ESPN reporting every single day is about Aaron Rodgers and football. He's like, it's not fucking football season. Stop reporting on football. And I've been saying that for years too. It's like all you're doing is talking about the fucking fluff NBA drama in the offseason or the fluff NFL drama in the offseason. And I get that those are the big sports and those are going to be the things that bring in listeners, right? But it's like you're cutting out a whole, like the NHL, not that there's anything wrong with the NHL, but like the NHL gets more play time on the radio than baseball does sometimes.
Well, the NHL has the same problem. They just don't know how to.
Sure.
That's another sport that is inherently exciting. I think more so exciting than baseball, even though I love baseball more. And they just do a shit job. I can't name 5 active hockey players because they do a shit job of promoting those guys. And yeah, a lot of it has to do with the fact that these sports shows have become so lazy in their presentation that they just they're like, all right, well, people listen to NFL, so I'll talk about anything NFL because I know I'm guaranteed to get some fucking idiots to hear that Aaron Rodgers, jerked off in a cactus. Baseball has such interesting storylines also. the two big back-to-back years of fascinating sports. Huge, the biggest cheating scandal in baseball since the steroid era of the late 90s, early, I think 2000s.
Barry Bonds just fucking getting intentionally walked and
into the like early 2000s when you had like the tort report, whatever that was that came out. Okay, I can't even remember. Tracy McGrady report. And then the year before this, which is also known as last year, you have the Astros cheating scandal. Like these are gigantic fucking stories, and they could be reported on, and they can be interesting. And the things that happen in the game can be a lot of fun. And it's taken guys like John Boy who've taken a non-traditional approach to the game and presented it to people, and baseball fans and non-baseball fans, saying, "Hey, look, this is our sport. This is why we enjoy it. Not for like the mid-June." 10 to 1 blowouts where it's just a boring game. Like we get those are boring games. We're talking about the minuscule details in the game that are actually fascinating. When the manager comes out fucking screaming his head off, that's fascinating. When there's controversy over calls, that's fascinating. When the teams are vying for that last spot in the playoffs, that's fascinating. And you don't get that. You just get the same lazy reporting that, is the reason why ESPN is dying, because they don't have, except for MMA, which has saved them, they just don't know how to present to a new audience. They just know how to present to these same old fucking geezers, and they're not bringing anyone to the sport. It's not even that hard to do. It's really not that hard to do. Guys like John Boy have been doing it for a few years now, and have been doing a really good job of doing the job for baseball. And John Boy does a great job of like taking oddities like that and showing fans of the game and even non-fans that, hey, this is why this game is special. You're going to watch a game and you're going to see something you've never seen before, and it's exciting as fuck when something like that happens. And it doesn't happen every single game. But most games. By the way, before we need to get to our sponsor, this has been brought to you by John Boy Media, this episode of Now This Is Podcasting. If you want a mug with your face on it or Shembry's face on it, go to Mugs and get them mugs and tell them John Boy sent you. All right, I think that just about does it for this. We're kind of beating a dead horse here. Baseball, do a better fucking job.
Not only did we beat that dead horse, but we're about to look it in the mouth. Let's keep going.
I
got the hiccups. That's hilarious.
This episode has also been brought to you by Pepto-Bismol. When you have hiccups, don't wait for them to fuck up your podcasts. Reach for the pink Pepto-Bismol. Are you muted now for fear of more hiccups?
Yeah.
We're professionals here.
We just professionally suck and act like a bunch of assholes on stage. All right. Well, Joe, go fuck yourself. Everybody else, all three of you that are about to watch this or listen to this.
Get it together, man.
I can't. I spit up a little bit.